One of the most popular category of discs on the market right now is your control driver and your power driver. Now this is in part because companies have been releasing new molds like Discmania and the Vanguard that have been getting a lot of traction, but also I think for amateurs, this might be the category of disc that best fills the hole for distance driver and actually goes the farthest for them. So while I don't actually have a Vanguard or some of the newer discs like the Honor, I do have a couple different control drivers or power drivers that I wanted to test out to see if I'm bagging the right mold for my game. So we brought out 4 different molds that fit this category, all of which I've bagged at some point in my disc golf career. Up first, we're throwing the Vulture. This is a mold that has been in my bag most recently, and I have this mold in 4 different plastics. We have an ESP, a Z, a big Z, and a titanium. And one of the things we're gonna be paying attention to is how the different plastics impact the stability. Next up is gonna be the Anax, of which I have 2, ESP and big Z. Now I did bag the Anax for a little while, but my theory is that the Anax and the Vulture fly pretty similar. There's too much overlap. Next up is a Tour Series Thunderbird. This is the only Thunderbird I have. This was in my bag for a long time a couple years ago, and I'm expecting this to be one of the straighter. And last but not least, we have the PD, and we have 2. We have a Champion Phantom Sword, the Innovatake after Discmania left. Then we have an old beat up swirly S-Line Dark Maul 2. We'll go with the S-Line first. All right, hold on, let me quickly show you the spread out here because this is interesting. We have our ESP and our Big Z Anax closest to the basket. As we move farther out back, we have all of our Vultures spread out. And then interestingly enough, both of our PDs are both long and left of the basket, which is not what I expected because they felt and flew the most overstable. Hole 2 place 310, straight ahead, basket down on the hill on the left. This will be a nice flat hyzer shot on all these discs. Thunderbird up first. Hole 3 place 280, basket is tucked back behind those trees. Normally this is just a stock hyzer, but for the sake of testing these discs, we're actually gonna go with this sneaky forehand line, because I'm really curious to see how these discs hold up to the torque on the forehand. Thunderbird up first. Yeah, pretty straight to fade. Flipped up a little on me, but exactly what I expected. Yeah, flipped up to turn, got that even nose up, still got the flip up to turn push, and then stalls out. That might have just gone in. It definitely hit chains. That was sick. But that might have been an ace. All right, we're walking down the fairway of hole 3 to go see if we actually aced on that ESP Anax, which I for sure heard change, so that would be sick. But while we do that, let's talk a little bit about the stability differences in these discs, because so far I think it's showing to be very similar to what I anticipated. On the less stable, more neutral side, we have the Thunderbird and the Vultures. Now of those 4 Vultures, The TI is the straightest, then the ESP, then I would say the Big Z, with the Z being the most overstable by a wide margin. Not far behind that though is our Anaxes. I think my ESP Anax quite a bit straighter than the Big Z Anax, and that ESP Anax certainly has overlap with something like that Z Vulture. And on the most stable end is those PDs, for sure the most dumpy, for sure the most overstable of the lot. Hey, we just turned the corner and we aced with the ESP Anax. How sick is that? Unreal. Pretty fired up about that. What's wild is I was leaning towards bagging the Vultures, but now that I just aced with this Anax, can I keep it out of the bag? That is so sick. Come on now. First ace on the channel. I'm pretty fired up about that. Hole 4, 380 straight ahead in the trees. This is another hole that'll give us a great opportunity to see the stability of these discs, as we're gonna try and put them all on some flex. Ante out of the hands, see how fast and how hard they fight out. Thunderbird. Hole's pretty straight. Pretty straight, fought out slow. TI Vulture. Good ante out of the hands, a little more nose up. So not quite equal that Thunderbird. Held it for a long time and then just dumped out at the end. Let's go ESP Vulture. Oh, good flex out of the hand, much better line. There it is, hooking up right at the end. Held it for a long time though, right to the mouth, that's nice. Big Z Vulture. Yeah, not bad. Okay, showing very similar stability, all these Vultures on the flex. Let's see this this Z Vulture though, the most stable of them all. Oh, I threw it low. You see it start to come out at the end. Let's get to our Anaxes. The ace disc. Oh, a lot. I cranked on that one, but there it is, fighting out. Yep, Big Z Anax. Yeah, fighting out much faster even so. All right, finally let's get to our PDs, starting with our S line. Yes, he didn't get over on that as much, but also just fought out so quick. Finally the champ. We're really gonna have to crank over on this bad boy. There it is, we got over on it nice. And there's the fight out in the dump, my goodness. Stable boy. Best drive of the bunch, went to that ESP Vulture, which was right around here. My son has picked it up and run off with it. So in invisible mark, quick jump putt. See if we can't catch the eagle. Oh, get in. Ooh, just off the top. Not a bad bid though. Hole 5, 220-foot forehand, straight ahead. I'm gonna test the short forehand stability this time. That's the Thunderbird. Yeah, not bad. Whoa, way long, all right. Uh-huh. Lovely. So straight, even on a little power. Got that one a little more nose up, a little too nose up. Way right. Yep, a little deep again, but not bad. ESP Anax. Can we ace same disc twice in one video? Oh, caught a little cabbage on the way out. It's gonna be short. All right, Big Z Vulture, Anax. Oh, there's that stability. Noticeable step instability going from those Vultures to the Anaxes. Let's go S-line PD. And Champion PD. Okay, so let's talk about what just happened. We threw these 9 discs, a variety of lines. You saw the fall flights. What I've experienced from most understable to most overstable, we have the Thunderbird as a little bit of the anomaly in this group. It is one of the OGs, but it's a lot slower. It feels like it's a 9-speed versus a 10. It just seems a little noticeable, and I only have the 1. So we're just gonna put that over here off to the side. Now the rest of these, the 4 Vultures, TI, most understable, then ESP, then Big Z, then the Z. Then we move into our Anaxes with our ESP being the most neutral with the overstable Big Z, and then of course the beat-in Dark Maul 2, and then the Phantom Sword. So hand feel on these discs, to me, the Anax feels the sharpest in the hand. It feels like it has the most aggressive nose on it, and it sort of feels really good actually, the way that it really digs in and bites into your hand. You feel pretty comfortable and confident with the grip on this disc. I would say next would be your PD. Still feels pretty aggressive, but a little bit more rounded on the shoulder. And then the Anax just feels the most blunt in the hand, which actually also feels comfortable for a slightly different reason than the Anax. It just feels a little more gentle, a little more round, sort of slowly turns into itself, which feels pretty good. Now, here's where it comes to decision time for me and my bag. I've had all of these in the bag at different points, and I like different things about them. I will say right off the bat, the PD is probably not it for me. Just a little too overstable for what I'm looking for and for my arm speed. So I'm just gonna take those out right off the bat. Likewise, I think this really overstable Big Z Anax is just a touch too much beef for me. I think the ESP Anax is just in a really great sweet spot. It's overstable enough that I could do anything with it by putting it on a little more or less hyzer, but it's also pretty straight. So the ESP Anax, we got the Ace. It feels incredible on the forehand. It's pretty flat, not a ton of dome. It just feels great in the hand, on the backhand as well. We get good distance, good push, and then good dump. So it's gonna be hard for me to keep this out of the bag, especially after that Ace and just how well I love it on the forehand. But in terms of the backhand throw, these two flippy Vultures, I should say neutral, they're not super flippy, I have loved. They feel so good on the backhand. I get incredible distance at them. I might get as much distance out of these as I do something like my Grace or my Destroyer. This TI one gets quite a bit of turn and then a little fade back. The ESP Vulture, dead straight with a little fade at the end. So I think what I wanna do, even though I was trying to narrow this down to just one mold to make the bag, I think I'm gonna go away from that philosophy for right now. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go TI Vulture for straight to flippy and ESP Anax for overstable and forehands. That's where I'm at. That's what I've decided after this round. I'd love to hear what you think about that. I'd love to hear what discs you bag in this power driver, control driver category. And also keep an eye out. I might just try and get my hands on a Vanguard or an Honor to shoot those out against these discs as well and see if they can't kick one of these two out of my bag. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you hanging out. Like and subscribe if you want to. My name is Andrew Wood. Remember, the journey is the destination. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.